Have you ever wondered why some people can think about one careless sentence for many days? A strange look, a sigh, or even a very small change in someone's attitude can be enough to keep them restless. While most people quickly forget these things and continue with life as usual, they replay every detail in their mind as if their brain has no stop button. Many people think this is simply overthinking or being too sensitive. But modern psychology shows that the truth is much more complex. For some people, this is not a choice or a weakness, but the way their nervous system was shaped from birth. Their brain processes information, emotions, and signals around them with greater intensity than usual. This helps them notice things others miss, but it also makes them carry more mental pressure every day. If you have ever felt swept away by emotions, easily drained after being around many people, or often haunted by very small things, you may have a special kind of brain. In this video, we will explore 10 psychological truths that explain why some people feel everything more deeply than others. Have you ever met someone who keeps saying they are fine, yet deep down you feel that something is not right? While everyone around you believes their words, you notice that their smile seems forced, their eyes lack energy, or their voice carries a quiet exhaustion that is hard to describe. This is one of the defining traits of people who feel everything deeply. They do not simply listen to what others say. Instead, they unconsciously analyze countless nonverbal cues, including facial expressions, eye contact, posture, gestures, and tone of voice. Their brain constantly compares these signals with the spoken words to determine whether everything truly matches. As a result, they are often the first to realize when someone is hiding sadness, anxiety, or disappointment. This remarkable sensitivity allows them to become excellent listeners, naturally empathetic people, and the ones who often recognize when someone needs help before anyone else does. However, this gift comes with a significant cost. Constantly absorbing so much emotional information makes it difficult for them to fully relax. Their brain functions like a radar that never switches off, leaving them mentally exhausted after spending time in crowded social settings. Ironically, they can easily see the emotions that others try to hide. Yet very few people are perceptive enough to notice the emotional burdens they quietly carry themselves. Have you ever felt sad just because you saw a stranger crying? Or emotionally drained after being around someone who is angry, even though they never said a word to you? For people who feel everything deeply, this is a very common experience. They do not simply understand other people's emotions on an intellectual level. Instead, they unconsciously experience those emotions within their own body. When they see someone in pain, their brain almost recreates that emotional state, causing their heart to race, their chest to feel heavy, or their mood to suddenly sink. That is why they are often described as emotional sponges, constantly absorbing the emotional energy around them. In today's world, this can become even more overwhelming, as social media is filled every day with news about wars, accidents, illnesses, and heartbreaking stories. Just a few minutes of scrolling through their phone can leave them carrying a sense of sadness for the rest of the day. Although this deep empathy allows them to become caring friends who genuinely support others, they can easily become emotionally exhausted if they do not learn to establish healthy emotional boundaries instead of carrying everyone else's pain. Understanding this is the first step toward protecting your mental well-being, while preserving the compassion that makes you who you are. If you see yourself in these experiences, to subscribe to the channel and join us as we explore more fascinating insights into psychology and discover a deeper understanding of yourself in the videos ahead. For most people, a crowded cafe, loud music, or a busy office is simply part of everyday life. But for those who feel everything deeply, every sound, light, scent, and movement can become a powerful source of stimulation for the nervous system. While most people's brains automatically filter out unimportant information so they can focus on the task at hand, their brain takes in almost everything at once. The sound of keyboards, ringing phones, strong perfume, bright lights, and traffic noise all compete for their attention at the same time. After spending hours processing such an overwhelming amount of information, they often end up feeling mentally exhausted, developing headaches, or struggling to concentrate without fully understanding why. This also explains why many highly sensitive people find it difficult to watch horror movies, violent scenes, or news reports filled with disturbing images. Even though they know these events are fictional or happening to someone else, their body reacts as if they are facing the danger themselves. Their heart beats faster, their muscles become tense, and feelings of anxiety arise almost instantly. That is why seeking quiet, peaceful environments is not a sign of weakness or social avoidance. It is simply the nervous system's natural way of protecting itself from a world overflowing with stimulation that most people barely notice. After a long day at work or attending social gatherings, many people enjoy going out for a meal, chatting with friends, or taking part in other activities to recharge. But for people who feel everything deeply, what they need most is peace and quiet. It is not because they dislike people or avoid social interaction. Their brain has simply been working overtime for hours. They have absorbed countless sounds, emotions, facial expressions, and subtle signals that most people barely notice. When they finally return home, they need time alone for their nervous system to gradually settle down. Without that quiet space, they can become irritable, lose focus, or feel completely drained even if they have not done any physically demanding work. The same thing happens when they are pressured to complete multiple tasks within a short period of time. Instead of working faster, their brain naturally processes information in a deeper and more careful way, making tight deadlines feel overwhelming. It is not that they lack ability. They simply need enough time to make the most of their strengths. When given a calm environment and the freedom to work without constant pressure, they often produce work that is exceptionally thoughtful, creative, and high in quality. Have you ever felt that you needed time alone to recover after a long day? Share your experience in the comments below. Your story might help someone else realize they are not alone. One of the most exhausting traits of people who feel everything deeply is how difficult it is for them to let go of the past. There are words that most people hear and forget within a few hours, yet they may remember them for months or even years. A disappointed look from a parent, a teacher's criticism, or a negative comment on social media can remain vividly etched in their mind as if it happened yesterday. This happens because their brain does not simply store information. It also preserves the emotions attached to those experiences. Whenever a memory returns, they do not just recall what happened. They relive the pain, anxiety, embarrassment, or sadness they felt at that moment. In psychology, this pattern is known as rumination, where the brain repeatedly replays past experiences in search of a different explanation or a better ending. From an evolutionary perspective, this mechanism once helped humans remember danger and avoid repeating the same mistakes. But in modern life, it can easily turn into a cycle of self-criticism that traps them in events they can no longer change. They often find themselves thinking, if only I had said something different, if only I had handled it better, or what if I had made another choice that day? Only by accepting that the past cannot be rewritten and focusing on what they can do in the present can they gradually free themselves from the prison of old memories and rediscover a sense of peace within their mind. For many people, an argument is simply an opportunity to defend their point of view. But for those who feel everything deeply, conflict feels like an emotional storm that immediately puts their entire body on high alert. The moment someone raises their voice, changes their tone, or shows anger, their heart begins to race. Their mind goes blank, and it becomes difficult to think clearly. This does not mean they are weak or lack confidence. In reality, their nervous system responds to conflict as if it were facing a genuine threat. That is why, instead of arguing back or standing up for themselves, they often choose to stay silent, give in, or apologize first just to end the tension as quickly as possible. Sometimes they even accept the blame, despite knowing they did nothing wrong. What they truly want is not to win the argument, but to restore peace as soon as they can. However, constantly suppressing their emotions and putting everyone else's needs before their own eventually takes a heavy emotional toll. They may appear calm on the outside, but inside they gradually become exhausted and lose touch with their own voice. Learning to express their thoughts calmly, set healthy boundaries, and accept that disagreements are a natural part of life can help them build stronger and healthier relationships. If this sounds like you, give this video a like to support the channel and help more people understand that sensitivity is not a weakness. It is simply a unique way of experiencing the world. Have you ever agreed to help someone even though deep down you wanted to say no? Maybe you were already exhausted, your schedule was completely full, or you simply wanted some time for yourself, yet you still replied, sure, because you did not want to disappoint anyone. This is a very common trait among people who feel everything deeply. When faced with the choice of turning someone down, they do not just think about their own decision. They vividly imagine the other person's disappointed expression, sadness, or feeling of being rejected. Those imagined emotions alone can fill them with guilt, making them feel as though they have done something wrong. To avoid that uncomfortable feeling, they say yes, even when it means sacrificing their own time, health, or peace of mind. Over time, they become the person who always takes on extra responsibilities, is always willing to help, yet rarely takes care of themselves. Unfortunately, the harder they try to please everyone, the more likely they are to become emotionally exhausted and lose their personal boundaries. Kindness is a beautiful quality, but being kind should never mean always putting yourself last. Learning to say no with kindness does not make you selfish. Instead, it protects your mental well-being so that you still have the energy to love and support others when it truly matters. Once you begin to value your own needs, you will realize that genuine relationships respect both your yes and your no. Despite all the challenges that come with being highly sensitive, there is also a remarkable gift that sets these people apart. If they feel pain more deeply than others, they also experience beauty and joy with the same intensity. A piece of music can give them goosebumps from the very first notes. A painting, a book, or a peaceful sunset can leave them speechless with emotion. While others may simply think something looks beautiful, they often perceive layers of meaning and feeling that are difficult to put into words. This is not an exaggeration, it is the way their brain amplifies positive experiences just as powerfully as it amplifies emotional pain. That is why many highly sensitive people possess exceptional creativity in music, painting, writing, and other forms of art. They do not create solely through skill. They pour genuine emotions and lived experiences into everything they make. Even simple moments, such as the scent of grass after the rain, a cool afternoon breeze, or a heartfelt hug, can fill them with profound happiness. When they learn to nurture their appreciation for beauty instead of focusing only on emotional wounds, they gradually find greater balance and discover the unique strength that sensitivity can offer. It is a rare gift that not everyone is fortunate enough to possess. To explain why some people are both more vulnerable and capable of extraordinary growth, psychologists often use the well-known metaphor of orchids and dandelions. Most people are like dandelions. They can adapt to a wide range of environments, handle pressure well, and continue to thrive even when conditions are far from ideal. People who feel everything deeply, however, are more like orchids. They are far more sensitive to the world around them, from the way others treat them, to the atmosphere at home, and the environments in which they study or work. When they are surrounded by criticism, constant stress, or a lack of understanding, they are more likely to experience anxiety, lose motivation, and become emotionally exhausted. Yet the fascinating part is that when they are placed in a supportive environment, where they are respected, listened to, and encouraged to develop their strengths, they often grow far beyond the average person. Their keen awareness, deep insight, and creative thinking allow them to excel in fields such as art, research, leadership, and careers that require empathy and strategic thinking. This shows that sensitivity is not a flaw that needs to be eliminated. It is a biological trait that flourishes when it is nurtured in the right way. Instead of forcing themselves to become emotionally tougher like everyone else, they should seek environments where their natural strength can thrive. When they do, their sensitivity becomes a unique advantage that allows them to shine in their own remarkable way. One of the biggest mistakes people who feel everything deeply often make is trying to become the version of strength that society expects. They force themselves to tolerate noisy environments, pretend not to be hurt by painful experiences, push themselves into social situations that leave them exhausted, and criticize themselves whenever they need time alone to recover. They believe that being more sensitive than others must mean that something is wrong with them. But the truth is exactly the opposite. Not everyone is born with the same way of processing emotions and information. What makes you different is not a weakness to hide, but a natural characteristic of your nervous system. The more you deny who you are, the more energy you waste trying to live up to other people's expectations instead of listening to your own needs. Once you accept that you need more time to recharge, moments of quiet to regain emotional balance, and relationships that make you feel safe, you will no longer feel guilty for simply being yourself. True maturity is not about turning yourself into someone completely different. It is about understanding your strengths and your limits so you can live in harmony with both. A highly sensitive person does not need to become emotionally numb. What they truly need is to learn how to use their sensitivity as a source of strength, knowing when to open their heart, when to rest, and when to protect their precious emotional energy. Only by embracing your true nature can you find lasting peace and fully appreciate the unique gifts that sensitivity has to offer. After everything we have explored, the most important thing to remember is that sensitivity is not a flaw that needs to be fixed. It is a gift, but it also comes with responsibility. If you do not understand how your own mind and nervous system work, your sensitivity can leave you emotionally exhausted, anxious, and trapped by other people's feelings. But once you learn how to manage it, you gain a remarkable strength that not everyone possesses. Start by setting healthy boundaries to protect your emotional energy. Do not feel guilty about saying no to a request, taking time to be alone, or stepping away from environments that overwhelm you. At the same time, nourish your mind and heart through nature, music, art, and meaningful relationships. These are the very things that help restore balance after absorbing so many emotions each day. Remember, you do not need to become emotionally numb to live a happy and fulfilling life. You simply need to learn how to guide your emotions instead of allowing them to control you. When you embrace your sensitivity in the right way, you will discover that the very quality that once made you feel different is also what makes you truly unique. If this video has helped you better understand yourself or someone you care about, subscribe to the channel today so you never miss our new videos, published every day. Join us as we continue exploring fascinating insights into psychology, human behavior, and personal growth on the journey toward a deeper understanding of yourself.